How are you, Jim? You've got your mute on. I can't hear you.
Did that take care of it?
Yep, it did.
Okay.
It did. It did. I'm trying to figure out how to run George Suderman's shop tour, and I can't get it to run on my end. So I'm going to send it to Luke and see if he can get it to run. Can you share a video off of your machine? Do you know?
No, I'm sitting at a computer with a camera on it rather than a phone.
Well, my problem is that I'm working on a phone. Let me see if I can send Luke a note right quick.
This works a bit now.
Yeah, because we're going on to.
Hey, Jim, can you hear me?
I can.
Good. We were having internet problems the last time.
Ah, okay.
Jim, you're over here. I can hear you as well.
Good.
Still way early.
Okay.
There's me.
Hey, George.
Hey, George.
Hi, Jim. And everybody.
Hey, George.
Hi. Oh, hi, Jim. I got to look at all these pictures. Do I speak into this?
Yeah.
Oh,
So you can hear.
But he's, I think that's daughter.
I think
Daughter.
can you hear that?
I don't know. Is anybody talking?
No, not at the moment.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah.
Hey, George. Jim, you're over. I hear you.
Hi, Jim. I see you too. This is working so far. Yeah, that name under my name is not me.
All right, let me change it.
Okay. They know I'm not you, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. How are you?
Asked how you are.
I'm good.
She's doing all this work for me so I can look at you crazy guys. Hi, Jerry. When did you come on?
Just before you,
Oh, okay. I just now saw you.
right after my chili dog.
No.
I was upstairs and Jerry says, we got to eat before the meeting.
There you go. I missed my pulled pork sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
See your finger, Lan.
Yeah, that's an interesting finger there, Lan.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to get everything on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I like your background.
You in space?
Well, of course, aren't y'all at the space station too?
Yeah. Space cadet.
I decided to go up there. It'd be more interesting.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
probably a peaceful place to be right now.
Definitely.
Are we
I'm
waiting
like
for?
George. I have to change my name every time I come on because I can't figure out why it lists me as Williams iPad and change it.
You might have to take a hint.
Well, I'm here at the grace of Debbie because this is all her computer stuff. You know, I'm not a computer person. And she's been kind enough to set all this up for me, which I really appreciate.
Good.
Yeah, we're glad she did that for you. Good to see you.
George, I have your video, but my internet connection is slow enough that it's not going to play it. So I've sent it over to Luke to see if we can get him to play it.
Oh, okay. Well, if we have to, we'll have to do it over again.
Good old Spectrum.
Well,
No,
we can do it. You
What's
can do a
that?
live tour. You can do a live tour.
If we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we have
But
to.
I've sent it to Luke.
Okay.
Landed is kind of nice up here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I didn't know you were checking in. Good to have you on board.
Absolutely.
He's about 2 craters over from you.
Yeah. Hey, Liam.
Hey, how are you?
Doing all right.
It's Nim.
Hey, Lan, how are you?
I'm great. I sure hope you are.
I like your background.
Yeah, Jim came to visit me. What do you think?
Is that a feature you can pull up and do?
It is.
Just background.
Let's see here.
You guys are all doing the same background, huh?
I'm on iPad, so mine is just 3 little dots on the right corner. And then you select which background you want. You can actually select something from your pictures that you've got saved if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Oh, you took that picture?
Yeah, I was near that glacier in Alaska. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I don't have anything quite as creative, so I had to use a stock photo.
I see Earl Martin just came on board.
Hey, Earl.
How you doing? Hey,
Earl's
George.
mobile.
I'm mobile, yeah.
And Duxbury and who else? Screen's getting crowded.
Well, there is Jim. I didn't see you, Jim.
Hey,
How you doing?
bring you the miracle of whatever.
It's a miracle, but it also can be very aggravating.
And there's Dave.
Hey.
Brady. There's Gillian.
Have we got Luke yet?
He's not on mine.
Yeah. I don't see him on mine.
I can only see 6 at a time, so I have to keep thumbing through there.
Well, I've got 9 at a time, and so we're at 2 pages.
I've got
Speaking
11
of
on
thumbing through,
There's Bonna and Jerry. We got a library anyway.
Yeah, sure we do.
We were there last time. We couldn't hear it.
Okay.
Got a nice thumb, Earl.
Pardon?
Good looking thumb, Earl.
On my thumb.
It's
Yeah,
like
sorry.
I do FaceTime with my son, and he'll tell me to move my finger.
Yeah, my daughter tells me that too when we do it.
Actually, the grandson tells him. Says, Papa, move your finger.
Oh, here's Nim. Hey, Nim.
Hey, Hal.
Did you rehearse?
I videotaped it and then sent it to Jim, and he said, "You need to do this live."
I was gonna say, I don't think you're in your shop.
No.
No.
But I can get there from here.
Okay, while we're doing this, what do we need? Supposing I wanted to do this, you just need what do I need?
a phone.
I'm going to switch over later and do Zoom on my phone so I can be portable. But at the moment, I'm on my computer.
Okay.
Yeah, that if you have an iPad, that works.
Nim, you can log in with both of them and just switch back and forth.
I know.
Huh? You could use a laptop and carry it around.
Yeah.
Not quite as easy.
No.
Land, teach me something.
Uh-oh.
I've tried to log in with both a laptop and an iPad, and if I'm going to get sound from my, I get the same thing that Nim's getting right now.
Yeah, you got to turn the volume down on the one you're not wanting to use.
Yeah.
Mute that one. Okay.
And the only reason I knew that is because I sit in on some of those from Ireland where they did shop tours for the last couple of weeks, and
Right.
they've all had to do that.
You have to get up at 4 in the morning to do that?
Do what?
Hey, Rita.
Good, how you doing?
Good.
Well, they're about
Well, I miss country barbecue.
Me
5
too.
hours ahead of us, right?
Hello, Mr. Brady.
Sir Bob.
How you
Look at
doing?
Bob. Doing good. How about yourself?
Hey, Jim.
I'm
Haven't seen
good.
you in a long time.
Yeah.
There's one of the Bobs.
Hey, how you doing? Another Bob.
Oh, got
It
2
is.
Bobs now.
That's right. You can't ask for much better than that except for 3 Bobs.
Well, there's about to be 3, yeah.
All right.
Lan, you got to get up at 4 in the morning or something to watch Ireland, don't you?
Well, fortunately, they do it at 7 o'clock at night, so it ends up being 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Jim, watch him, he's on.
Yeah.
But they've had several people in the U.S. They did Harvey Meyer's shop, and they did Jeff Hornig's shop, and I forget who else.
Interesting.
But they speak a language I don't totally understand over there.
That's true.
I'm not sure they do either.
There's Mr. D. Hart. He checked in.
How you doing?
I'm
Doing good. How you doing?
Huh?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Yeah.
Two more, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Man, you in outer space there?
Well, of course. Where else would I be?
Spaced out?
Yeah, we're in the space station.
Hey, Phil.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
All right. How you doing?
I'm all right.
They had a promotion on Groupon the other day about skydiving. You might want to check out.
I think I'll ride back. I'm not going to jump.
I'll do that for everybody.
See his background.
You all need to sing happy birthday to Bob Holchi.
Happy birthday to Bob.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. That's
Happy
it.
birthday, dear Bob. Happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday
you.
to you. Yay, Bob.
Hey, thank you. Hey, you guys sounded better than Jane, my wife, singing.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's pushing it.
You know why that was? Because everybody was on mute.
Bob, you know this is being recorded, right?
Broadcast.
Your wife's not listening.
Yeah, but she could.
So Lily and I celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary yesterday.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh, the hunters come on.
Been together a while.
Yeah. Okay, folks, by my clock, it's time. So let's see if we can actually get started. If I can find what I'm looking for here. There we go. I'm not sure when we're going to actually be able to get back together in person. I suspect it will not be July, and it may not be August. It might be September. But past that, I just don't know. But as you all know, I'm passing the reins on to someone else, and I will pass the Zoom account over to someone, probably Luke, since he's our tech guy, but I don't know for sure. Luke, what do you think of that? Nope, Luke's not speaking, huh? Anyhow, and someone else is going to run it. I'm headed for Denver here before too long, and I don't know if I will be at the next couple of meetings or not. And so things are changing in the world. Anyhow, Bob Shossi, are you in there? Bob Shossi.
I just have to unmute myself.
There you go. You've done a good job of it. Now, could you give us a right quick treasurer's report?
Yeah, probably.
You want us to move on?
I have that ready, wasn't I?
Okay, you want us to move on to the instant gallery and come back to you?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Okay. All right. Who's got something to show? What do you got there handy?
I do.
It's going to be tough.
Right, I heard and I do. There we go.
There's a holoform.
Jim Yarborough.
What? I've got something to show. So.
What's the wood, Jim?
Okay.
I think it's Bradford pear. It looked like cherry when I started with it, but it's much
Right.
longer than that when I got finished. I think it'd been sitting around in ultraviolet light.
Right. That'll darken it up. I don't know. It's a nice form. All right. Nim, what do you got?
So in the most recent version of the Woodturners magazine, I saw that picture there of the bowl with some. So I went out and tried to do it and came up with this, which is you can see the,
Wow.
it's a really thin edged bowl, but then I pierced it and did it at different angles. And believe it or not, I went online to check to see how to do those lines, get those arcs across there, and came across something from one of our club members out on the web telling me how to do it.
Hey, who was it? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
No's a perfectly good answer.
Yeah.
Can you hold it up again?
Oh, sure. So it's just a little bowl, right? But then it has these arced piercings. And so the whole thing becomes incredibly flimsy. And then I'm going to pierce each of the wings on here to make it almost like a lace bowl. So anyway.
What kind of wood is that, Nim?
Oh, this is maple.
Wouldn't you pierce it?
Anyway, I got inspired by a photograph in the magazine. You know, it's that one right there. And so that's what I was inspired by. And I thought, okay, I'll try that.
Hey.
What did you use to pierce it?
A little high-speed Dremel thing that I purchased last year at the symposium.
Hey. Jerry, I think you had something, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a couple of things here to show. This is a Coca-Cola bowl that I made where Mr. West, before he passed about 10 years ago, he gave me this piece of Coca-Cola and I thought I would turn something out of it. Another piece of that 200-plus-year-old fat pine, as we call it, fat ladder where I'm from, but I turned a bowl out of that and that was incredibly hard to do. Thank you, George. You remember how hard it was?
Oh, yeah.
And today I turned a little flower pot out of cedar for Bona. And just one of many things. And this is a piece of that burl from Australia. I can't remember whatever it is. I got it at Raleigh at the show, and I finally turned. That's like turning a rock.
It is.
And I've done many other things, but that's primarily the ones I had in my hand here.
Right.
Staying busy, turning about one thing a day.
Yeah. Who else has got something?
I got a piece of an elm bowl that I turned. Y'all can see that.
Oh, it's
about
nice.
14 inches. And it's I dyed and textured the rim and texture of the center of it. And then put texture on the bottom of it.
Right, lift it up a little bit so we can see that bottom.
Oh, okay.
There you go. That's better. There you can see it.
There you go.
That's nice.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it was Bob Moffitt's thing that I saw online. Bob, didn't you post something about how to do an arc on a bowl with some tape or whatever?
Did I? Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
So did you ever publish something online having to do with putting arcs on a bowl using tape? And so I think it was your thing that I came across that helped me figure out how to do this.
Well, it got published. I didn't know it was getting published.
Yeah, well, it's online.
It's a handout I gave out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's made it online. Who else has got something?
I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, let me give you the treasurer's report. $6,707.25. $6,007.25.
Okay, all right.
And I've been doing, last time I didn't get my video working, but you know, I had been doing some segmented work, and here's one vase that I made, which is actually 12 inches tall, and it has close to 1,000 pieces in it.
You need to find something to do, son.
Yeah. Well, and here I've got another one, which is mostly it's sycamore. The main wood is sycamore, but it's also got red heart and purple heart and some beech in it. Here's another one I did, which walnut and holly, and it's got some paduk on the top.
Right.
So that's I've done a lot of other things too, but that's pretty much what I'm going to show tonight.
All right. I've got a crappy picture of whoever it is, but it's iPhone 434 and a bunch of other numbers. Who is that? What you got for us?
Mr. DeHart.
Oh, there you go. Well, once you spoke, I knew who you were, but I've got a really tiny picture of you, and I'm going, who the heck is that?
I'm on myself.
Oh,
There's a vase made. Got a nice little fennel on top.
That's nice.
Can somebody tell me how to get the picture up of who's talking?
Managed segments.
Yeah, to get the picture up of who's talking, go to the upper left-hand side and turn off the
gallery.
You got a control there for gallery. Turn that off, and it'll show you and down in the right-hand corner and the person who's talking.
All right, can you hear me now?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's good.
As I was saying, the hard part of this is the angled segments around the top of the bowl or base.
Okay, somebody has two devices on, and you got the volume up on both of them. Who's got both their phone and their computer on?
Not me.
Not me.
Yeah, somebody does. Because that's exactly what it sounded like when I screwed up and did that.
If you're not talking, you should mute, and then I think you won't.
Yeah, that helps as well. Unless you're in a completely quiet place. Okay, what else have we got?
I've got a sycamore bow that I did that I textured the rim on, and then I used those Jasana paints on.
Right.
They're sort of cool.
Now you just took that other bowl back in the back and changed the colors on it. You did that electronically.
I did. That's
the same bowl. That's the same bowl, just a different filter on your camera.
He's good.
He's quick too.
Yeah.
If you learn to do one shape, you got to stick with it.
Yeah, really. Who else have we got?
I've got something.
All right.
And it's a walnut vase, which I pierced with Master Carver, and then I added to it inside a maple insert. So you have the background to your holes. So you can see, I don't know, you can see the see through all the way through to the maple, and I just glued it in, and but it was kind of fun. I was going to put butterflies in it, but I just left random shapes in the middle of the whole thing.
That's nice. That's
Took
nice.
a long time. Took a long time piercing.
I bet. Who else have we got? Bob here.
Go back.
George, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Was that real turquoise in that last one before this one?
Moffett, that question was for you.
Was that real turquoise?
Oh, on mine, no, it's Jasana paints.
Oh, okay, okay.
I can't afford that much real turquoise.
Well, you'd have to
I'm too
come to
cheap for that.
Well, you got to ask me. Yeah, okay. All right, that's just my question.
Okay. Bob Muir, I think you were up.
Oh, I've got a 3-cornered box made from box elder with mahogany top. I'm gonna
Nice.
That's it.
All right. Who else have we got?
I've got a couple pieces here. This is a little daisy, and
Hold that up a little bit so we can see it better.
I can't.
Oh, wow.
For whatever reason, I'm not seeing my image here, so let's see if I can find it. I can't see myself, but yeah, this is just a piece of cherry I got. My son-in-law cut down a tree and I got some cherry, so then I just cut it and painted it, and it's pretty simple little thing. And then I did a little segmented piece with leftover pieces. I'm all out of wood for doing segmented and stuff like that, but they're kind of fun little objects and stuff.
Hold it right up at the level of your ear. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Back towards you a little bit.
Okay.
There we are.
That's nice.
There you go.
I'm not seeing my picture, so I apologize.
That's all right.
But that's
We'll
it.
direct you.
This is just walnut and maple. And believe it or not, that's walnut on the top too. Same log, but it was just entirely different color.
Yeah.
And that's it.
What else have we got? Okay, Bob, do you have a hummingbird house to show us?
No? He flew away.
All right.
Oh.
All right. Dave McInnes, do you have a box with a lid?
Shoot. Yeah, I got one, but not here.
Okay. All right.
It's already sold.
Is Crystal with us? Nope.
Here's a hummingbird house that I did.
Now, let's
Oh,
see
that's
everybody
nice.
else's hummingbird houses. Let's start. Just hold them up and then everybody scroll through.
Only one hummingbird, I guess.
Well, we got one hummingbird house.
And I had a lady wanting to buy that today.
Luke's got a little tiny
Okay,
one.
Luke's got something. Holy Christmas. That's a gnat house.
Nothing. No.
The gnat house, I still say. Who else has got something?
Hundreds.
Hold up there.
Oh, yeah.
Rita, did you do those?
Dozens.
Well, there we go. You've been busy. All right, lidded boxes. We've seen a few lidded boxes. That's the May members challenge was a lidded box. Anybody got lidded boxes that you didn't show in the gallery?
I got a whole bunch of them, but they're out in the shop. I made a bunch of them.
Yeah. And in June, this month, the members challenge is homemade jigs. And anybody got a jig you want to show off? Crystal was the one suggested that. That's why I started with her.
Yeah, but she has to go to my shop. It's too far away.
Yeah. All right.
I've got a lidded box here.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Right there. It's got a maple insert around with the black epoxy, and then the top comes off. It's a walnut box.
Oh, it's nice.
Pretty simple.
I've got a lidded box.
All right.
Or what you can see.
Well, first we got to find you. There you are.
Oh, okay. This has got a, where are we?
Yeah, I got it.
Tea light.
Oh, that's nice.
E-light box.
Is Bradford
That's a
chair.
great idea.
That's neat. That's a
Thank
neat
you.
idea.
And this is the other. I didn't do a lid for this, but I've been thinking about it. This is a tea light right now.
I like that.
Nice.
How much you can see. So
Yeah, yeah.
Puts me in mind of the Battleship Arizona Memorial.
the sides are canted in 15 degrees.
Right.
So I was going to put a lid in here, but I can't figure out what I like. You know.
Well, you make 2 or 3 of them.
Well, that's probably the deal.
Okay.
If I didn't really anticipate the lid enough and didn't give myself enough room to fit inside the, inside the hole.
Right.
And I could go over the top, but then I'm not sure, because I really don't like the tea candles just sticking out, when it's sitting on the shelf.
Right. Right.
So I think, and I actually was thinking about copying the same kind of general shape and let it sit in a smaller version on top. But yeah, you're right. Do 3 or 4 and then see what, because they're not big.
Right.
This is 9 inches by 3 by 2.
Right. Right. Hmm.
And I put a
Nice.
shed together this week, so that's all I got done.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah, it's about 8 hours in this little, because all hand sanded. I couldn't figure out a way to speed that up. The center part was done on the lathe, the bowl, so the little bowl, but all this outside stuff, just hand sanding it. And that's a Beal finish with Canuba. That's all that's on there. It's mahogany.
Right.
I got this piece of wood from Klingspor, and it was in their $2 a pound barrel. I think these were the waste parts from like when they cut out Queen Anne legs or something from looked like from a coffee table or something. So nice wood though.
It is. It is. Okay, Jeff Clark, have you got a Turner of the Month for us? Not only do we not have a Jeff Clark Turner of the Month thing, but I don't think we have a Jeff Clark.
I don't think we have a Jeff Clark.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
He's down.
Okay,
I see him.
I have one. Jeff, are you in there?
His video's not coming through.
Is the sound muted?
Did he pay his dues?
That's a different, there's Jeffrey Clark, different one.
How you doing there, Dave Kelly?
Good, good. How about yourself?
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing.
We have a lot of time for that.
Yep.
Okay, I have a Turner of the Month item from Jerry Meesmer, but it's in the kitchen and I'm not. So I'll break loose here in a little bit and go get it. But anyhow, let's move off to the shops. Now, shops is going to be an interesting sort of a thing. We're going to start with George Suderman. George asked if he could go first, and he also turns out to be the first in reverse alphabetical order, so everything comes out exactly as it should be. And George's daughter-in-law, I believe it is, has sent me a video, and I've been completely unsuccessful in getting the video to play properly. And I'm sure that's something on my end. But I then sent it over to Luke and asked Luke if he can play it. So Luke, are you successful at getting George's video to run?
My success was not any good either. It gave me a bad foul type.
Ah, all right.
So we got to do it again, huh?
So I suppose we're doing it live.
That's okay. We can handle that.
All right.
Are you ready for that?
We are ready for that.
They are ready for the tour. Okay, just give me a minute to get to the other room. Just
All right.
30 seconds.
All right.
Jim, can you mute everybody so that we can see it on speaker view?
I can't mute everybody without muting George too.
But don't mute me.
We're going to have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't see
George. Where's he?
Okay.
He's going to his shop. He'll be along. Here he is. All right. Everybody mute except George.
Like your pants, George.
I like your pants.
Oh, thanks a lot. These are suits. Okay, we just now entered what I call the hobby room, which is where I do finish work and carving and all that. There's a few things on the table here that I've done in the past that I just set out here for you. And over here are some pens that I turn and give away of most of them. And then coming across here are the pen parts. And over here is where I sit down and do my carving with my favorite little tool, the cordless Dremel, and my other high-speed bow grinder. This is the turquoise that I use to inlay with. That's the blue lapis, which looks good. And this is some seashells. I like using them. So that's collecting here. And tools everywhere. Then we go from here into the actual shop. And this room is about a good size 2 or 3 car garage. It's totally climate controlled. All the tools you will see here, except for my lace, are on wheels, so I can move them around and make room to work on whatever I want to work on. This is my Laguna bandsaw, which has a 2.5 horse motor on it. We'll cut big logs, 12 inches by 16, and it works great. Then I have a full height drill press, which I use a lot. This is my Grizzly table saw with a shop box guide, and I have another board that goes on there for cutting small pieces for inlays. Over here is, are you with me, Devin? This is all my sanding stuff there. And if you will look up at the attic or the ceiling, you will see all of the piping for my dust collection system, which goes out remote to another little room outside of here to keep the noise down. And there's gates to close, and I can get dust collection everywhere in here. And
Oh, you forgot the turquoise.
there's my chop saw and my 6-inch joiner, which helps. And then over here are my lathes. This is my Nova 3000 here. And what I like about it is you can turn that on and it will turn very slowly or very fast, depending on what you want to do. And I really like that. And then I have a little jet over there that I do small stuff with. Here are all my chips. I have my shop system here. So everything is very, I have 2 slow speed grinders and I have it all set up so I don't have to change any adjustments. I can use this one for bowl gouges and this one for spindle gouges, and you're all preset, so it's quick and easy. Even have a TV, so everything is where I need it. I know where everything is for me anyway. So then out in the, this is where I actually grind up my turquoise and all. I even take these stills and grind them all up. This is my mortise pestle that I turn this into this by using that. So that works. And then we go out here to the garage. And I have some wood sitting here that's just getting dry. It's actually plenty dry now. I can put it to the kiln, but I'll show you this first. Watch out over here. This is the room where my dust collector is, and I have a air compressor back there and all of this other stuff. So, then over here is my kiln, and in here, I'll let Debbie get in here first and show you. I have over 65 different varieties of wood in this room, and all of it is between 6 and 8% moisture, ready to go. That was nice. You can see all of that. So there's enough wood to keep several guys busy a lifetime. And that's my shop. So that's it. Go back in the other room and sit down.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that. I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm just going to burn mine down. Backing up just a little bit, if you'll allow me to. Here's 2 Turner of the Month things from Jerry Meismer. This is one that we saw him turn in the thing, and this is one that's finished and ready to go. These will both go into the Turner of the Month when we get back together. All right, let's see. Bob Shossi, you would be next.
Yes, I am next. But walking back just a little bit, I wanted to show you a couple of my boxes that I ran out to get. Here's one of them. I have had a kind of a demand for yellow lately. Here is another one. This one here, I haven't finished with it, so I've got to work on the lid a little bit. I have a green one, a little salt box, and it's not quite finished yet either. And I've got another yellow one. So these are, anyways, it's what, I have a video of my shop, which I took, and I'm believing it's going to work. So 11 minutes. So just hang on, and in a second, it'll be coming up. Let's see.
Okay, everybody needs to mute your microphones.
Are you seeing anything? I'm at the house and ready to go to the shop. First, you see a hole I made in my shop.
We're seeing you and hearing the video.
Oh, you don't see the video.
Yeah, can't see it.
Hold on. I wonder what's happened. Hang loose. Let me see here. I'm going to go back. Because I tried it once and I did get it. Let me try.
Do you want to share the screen?
Let me try this.
Okay, there we go.
You're seeing something now. Okay, now we got to get the sound up. Oh, that something still isn't quite there then.
In my shop. I'm on the deck with a view of the shop.
All over. I think it's working now, is it?
Yep, it is.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm in the house and ready to go to the shop. First, you see a bowl I made in my shop. My wife has made it into a table centerpiece. The table made of sycamore I also made in my shop. I'm on the deck with a view of the shop. The shop is 20 by 34 feet. The piece on the left jutting out is where my dust collector exists. People claim an outdoor dust collector will quickly remove the conditioned air. I haven't found that to be the case. I no longer have to empty the bags. Only about 3/4 of an inch builds up in the yellow tub. The remainder blows out of the spout on the ground. When it accumulates, I rake it down into the pile below where all of my wood waste goes. Oops, where do I start? An air compressor receiver tank needs to be purged of accumulated moisture frequently to prevent rusting, etc. I removed the small petcock on the bottom, added the ball valve and hose so this can be quickly done. I have 2 grinders, one with standard wheels and the other on the left with CBN wheels. The right wheel is 600 grit, the left one is 220 grit. I have an LED lamp, adjustable lamp to give good lighting. I use the one-way Wolverine system to sharpen my gouges. The left platform is currently set up to sharpen my D-way negative rate scraper. You can see my sharpening station is right across from my lathe. I have a Nova DVR 16-inch lathe. Exhaust systems are important. I have what I believe is called a black hole collector. It does a pretty good job when I have the dust collector operating, at least. I have installed a track where it can move along. One always needs a lot of lighting. I also have a 4-foot fluorescent fixture above everything. I sometimes turn a lot of wet wood. It is nasty, corrosive, and soils everything around. You can see it on the walls. I can't clean them. The other problem with turning wood are the chips that fly all over, creating a lot of cleanup. I remedied this with a 6-foot wide shade I can pull down to protect the wall and everything behind it. The chips don't only fly behind you, but also beyond. I have a second shade to protect the beyond and keep the chips contained between the two. Actually, I have 2 surplus shades if anyone is interested. I want you to focus on the staircase that is resting parallel to the ceiling. I need a staircase to access my attic. Staircases take away a lot of needed floor space. I can easily raise it out of the way with a simple winch and lower it when needed. Actually, it spends 99% of its time lower. I can also move the staircase away from the attic doorway to make room to hoist larger objects into the attic. The door moves over wheels as soon as it begins moving, which makes it easy to move as well as permits it to seal when shut. I'll now take you on a guided tour to my attic where I store all of my dead bodies. There are pre-turned bowls, lumber of several species, bowls in paper bags, drying, small cut wood boards, some commercial blanks, chunks, spindles, exotic woods, small pieces, large pieces, junk, some logs in plastic containers spalting, electric hoist, a plywood and board storage truck, handsaw storage, a bathroom with sink and hot water. Chainsaws, wall hangings, straight edges, levels, squares, protractors, a froe, sawhorses, clamp storage, glues. Everybody has lots of clamps. Polish motor, winch, roller floor stands, saw accessories, jet 3 horsepower, 48-inch cabinet saw, homemade takeaway table. In the back is a veneer press, shop vac under the outfeed table, another grinder with a wire brush, 4-inch belt sander, 1-inch belt sander, oscillating spindle sander, 12-inch disc sander, and drill press. Cabinets and small parts storage. .632 jet drum sander and a 6-inch Delta jointer. Some router table. Osh 12-inch miter saw. It's a dust maker. Jet 16-inch bandsaw and a Craftsman 10-inch bandsaw. .12-inch Delta thickness planer. Another look at lathe tools, but probably 75% of the time I use a couple Thompson tools. I have dust collection and blast gates on most stationary equipment, I control the dust collector by remote controllers at 3 stations. I have a variable speed axial fan in an enclosure with discharge louvers. My heating and air conditioning is with this 1-ton mini split heat pump. I have a ceiling mounted air filter I operate when the lights are on. On this station, one hose goes permanently to the disc sander. The other 4-inch hose gets plugged into either the drum sander or the jointer. This station has a 4-inch hose that gets plugged into either the thickness planer, bandsaw, or router table, whichever one is operating. The hose for this station is mostly for vacuum cleanup. At the lathe, thickness planer, and bandsaws. It also plugs into the small bandsaw. The table saw has a 4-inch permanent connection to it. The 3 smaller sanders share a 1.5-inch hose. The disc sander has its own dedicated hose. The chop saw has 2 connections, but still not very effective. The lathe has a 4-inch connection, which I showed you more about earlier.
Well, I'm suitably impressed. I don't know about the rest of you.
Nice.
That is a seriously nice shop.
Wonderful.
How long have you had it?
I'm jealous.
I built it in 2014 after I retired.
So I got some goals.
Huh?
Goals.
I thought I had enough toys. I guess I don't.
Jeez. I can tell my honey I want list isn't long enough. Okay, moving on. Don Murray. Don, are you with us? Unmute your mic. No, Don.
There we go. Sorry, the
There you
camera's
go.
getting in the way. Hold on a minute. Let me take you over to the shop.
All right.
Ours is a basement shop, so it's off the family room. So let me see if I can make this change like we talked about. Hold on a minute. Boom.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Welcome to the shop. I use LED lights for everything because it makes it nice and bright. All right. Over here is the pile of everything I work on. I like to work on old tools and restore them. This is an old treadle jigsaw my dad had, and I've been hunting for an alloy that'll weld it right. And I finally found one I can do low temperature that'll be as strong as the cast iron. So that's going to get restored shortly. Let's see. Over here is the DeWalt. Used to be my grandfather's DeWalt. I've got all the attachments for it. It's a big old sucker, but it works great. I love working with the older tools. Let's see. We have a bench grinder. Over here we have the lower end for the boat. That's this isn't just a wood shop. This gets everything in it. So, all right. The lathe, the wood lathe. I'm working with the Grizzly. It's one of those with the digital control for speed. And one of the things I found out, let me get this here, is these guys are an aftermarket hand wheel you can put on these Grizzlies. Apparently the Jet and a couple other models use all the same spindle inside. and it's a left-hand threaded 1/2-inch 12 thread spindle. And with these aftermarket hand wheels, you can put them right in that area and thread them into the spindle. And now you can work with a hand wheel without having to worry about cutting yourself up and other messy things. Let me see. The way I use my tools is I have a little rack here, so I can access the tools while working on the lathe. The smaller ones for small stuff, the bigger ones, the bowl turning things in the back. Toolbox holds the rest of the stuff underneath. Rest of the stuff up on top too. This is and I can never remember the brand. This is a great chuck for holding your bowls, because each of the segments is an opposite set of spirals, so that when you rotate the discs, these center pieces open or close up so that you can fit things really big. This is just the right size to clear on the lathe.
It's called
So
a
it gives-
long work chuck.
Long work. Okay. Let me see, move a little slower over here. Joiner, thickness planer. I have things on wheels because I don't have a lot of room. I have to roll it around. That's the bench where almost everything else gets done, including the restoring of tools. Which brings me to my pride and joy. And that's the 9-inch South Bend metal lathe. I got this from an old gas station up in northern Ohio. Brought it back in the winter a couple of years ago, which was a stupid thing to do. But it's a flat belt drive. Standard old style flat belt drive. This is your this is the area for setting up the gearing. I can set a series of different gears in here and be able to do metric with it. It reverses if you want to go the other way for some reason. This lathe was a manual lathe when I got it. So it's called a number 9 type C. I converted it to an A by remilling holes for a gearbox so that it could do threading. So now it will drive across, and it will drive across in the other direction automatically, which is really handy. And I can set different speeds and feed rates for that. If you ever decide to do one of these, just be aware it takes forever, and all the oil channels have felts in them, and you have to pull them through with little wires and stuff. It's an absolute nightmare, especially if the person that had the lathe before you never maintained it at all. It's like drilling out tar and stuff like that. But so I painted it up, restored it, made sure all the bearings were good, all the oil channels were good and everything. So now I have a nice South Bend 9 that I work with. And I'm told I'm supposed to go slow with this camera, so that's why I'm going slow. Okay. So nobody gets dizzy. A little bandsaw here. It's one of those little central machinery ones. It works good enough for what I've needed so far. Sander, jigsaw. One of the things I like to do is restore old tools, and over here is an old miter box, old Stanley miter box, and I was able to get a saw for it that fit right. Those are wonderful. As soon as I get the right piece of wood for the bottom of it, they were using a type of mahogany, but I don't know. It seems a shame to waste mahogany on a miter box to me. I don't know. There's a drill press. Like I said, everything I get, I restore so that I can use it in the shop. It's a good sized bench one with the table cranks up. That's nice. Chop saws for outdoor construction projects for me, or once in a while I'll take it out. Here's a fun guy. This is called a carve right. It's a type of a CNC router. I can program on the desktop when it's working and I'm not working with just a telephone. And I can program in what I want to route. And as long as it's within the 12-inch wide work area, I can do an infinite length. And you can get things like this. That's one I was working on for my daughter and her husband. It's a handy thing. You change the bits on it and things like that. I put dust collection on it because it needed it. These things are notoriously dusty. It's a handy little machine, it really is. I also put lighting in it because it needed lighting too, because you can't see what's going on if you don't. Over here is the station where I sharpen my turning chisels, and hand sharpening station here. Like I said, old tools. I love working with old tools and restoring them and using them. I like planes. I like a lot of planes. And the funnier and the stranger they are, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Let me see. I'm going to put my hand over this so you don't get dizzy because I'm turning around quick. There you go. The other side of the room, I'm working with a jet contractor type table saw. Put a router table leaf on it so that I could not use a lot of space up in the in here. That also lets me use the fence if I want to. Like you can see, dust collection everywhere that I can get it. And here's more of those old time things that I love to work with. These are old planes. I don't know if you're familiar with the older ones. This is a Stanley 55. It's a beast. And it does almost everything, but it takes twice as long to set up than you use working with it. And some other old timers here. Let me think, what else? Oh yeah, this is the wood shop. This is my getaway place. This is where I escape to and spend time and do things. Now there's one other shop, which is the clock shop. That's attached to here. This is where I do my work on antique clocks. This guy's just running because he needed to work in. He's needs a face, but he's restored now, except for that. Let me see. This is so much more nerve-wracking when you do it in person than when you record it, you know. Again, more clocks I've worked on. This is workstation here for that. Let me see. Over here, I do experimentation with the 3D printer. It works good. I've been trying to make it better than it is, so it'll work a little better. Let's see. Plenty of things to work on. Every time I find a derelict clock, I grab it and restore it. So, and over here was what I wanted to last show you. This is the third lathe in the house, and this is my jeweler's lathe. This is what I use for turning small brass pieces. For you can do soft steel on it if you use carbide. But like I've said to others, this has like a drive belt. The traction belt is like a big O-ring, so it doesn't have a lot of oomph when it comes to harder metals. You can do small wood pieces on it, though. You can also do brass turning on it. I'm setting this up because I want to, as you can see in the corner, I'm working on setting up a small milling operation that runs off the same motor. So always working on building another tool or something like that. So let me see, what else is there to show you? Other than that, that's it. That's my domain. There it is. That's the shop. So thank you for joining me.
Great. Those are two very special lathes, the South Bend and the watch lathe.
So
neat stuff. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thanks a lot.
All right. Robert DeHart,
Yes, sir.
you're
There we go.
on, sir.
Ready to see if I can see how to reverse this thing here.
There you go. You got it.
All right, this is starting off from a shop. I got two shops, about 1,100 square feet total. This is just my general woodworking, some hand tools and so forth. Then over here is my wall of clamps, quite a few different types of clamps. And backing up, this is my router table. It's on wheels, so I can move it around. It's sitting in front of my table saw here. Got a shelf here. Got to keep all my fasteners and stuff to go with. Here we got just some of my table saw accessories and jigs and so forth. Underneath my table saw, I have a bench for my blades and some of my jigs and so forth. And table saw is a saw stop, and I do a lot of segmented, so I went and got a Vega fence rather than the saw stop fence, and I put in the digital control, which gives me up to 1/1000th of an inch setting on it, so I can go pretty close on cutting the wood. Walking around, this is kind of my assembly table where I do a lot of stuff, and I've got some weights and so forth where I do glue ups and everything. More shelving, and here's a 60-gallon air compressor. And here's a little object I'm working on now. It's a train station or a bridge with a locomotive, and I've started working on the locomotive, turning all the parts on it. The bridge has got rock inlaid on it. And up here's all my air tools, that nailers and so forth, staplers. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Here's a shelf, got some more of my tools on it. Above it, I have my 50-inch TV. And here's a project I'm working on now. It's a cabinet for my wife. And I'll get down here where you can see it. It's got spiral legs on it. It actually has 6 legs. So it was kind of hard to get all of them exactly the same thing. Right in the corner here is my 16-inch Laguna bandsaw. I have some small storage behind it. And then right beside it, I have my 14-inch jet saw, bandsaw. Then I've got a little 6-inch belt sander. And then I got a Ryobi oscillating belt and disc sander. Then here's my dust collector. It's a Tempest made by Penn State. If you notice, I had to cut a hole in the ceiling to get it up through the ceiling. It's almost 11 foot tall. But it got a 55-gallon drum on the bottom. And then I got a Craftsman spindle sander here, which is, I think, one of my favorites as far as spindle sanders. Then I've got a tool here. It's called a Rabbit. It's kind of like a joiner, but it uses sandpaper rather than blades. And off from it, it has a drum sander, which is a soft type drum sander. And if you look above it, all my tools have automatic blast gates. When you turn the blast gate, the unit on, they automatically open up and start the air compressor. I mean the vacuum. And then when you turn the tools off, it runs for like 30 seconds and then turns the vacuum system off, which is very handy. You don't have to sit there and worry about opening and closing blast gates. Then down the other side here, I've just got a bunch of storage bins that I've used for small parts, a couple toolboxes. There's a 12-inch disc sander. Got a little cabinet with all my sandpaper, different grits and everything in it. Right beside that is my chop saw. I've kind of got it enclosed. It catches the dust pretty good. I don't have a lot of dust from it due to the way it's all boxed in. The only problem if you do an angle cut, you have to remove it. And I just have a couple knobs you take loose and it moves that. On down here, we have just more cabinet space and more toolboxes and small parts up through here. And I got another little sander and belt sander here. I'm gonna make you dizzy because I'm gonna swing around here. Back up here is my 1632 Performax drum sander. Then this is my drill station. I have all my drill attachments and my drills, extra batteries, my drill sharpener, which is a drill doctor. I've got a cabinet down below there that actually stores some of my parts. Right beside it, I have my new tool, which is the Nova Voyager DVR drill press, and I fell in love with it. It does everything automatically for me. I mean, it will start drilling when you get to the wood, drill a hole a certain depth, and then stop the drip bit and back itself back out. So it's a whole lot smarter than I am. Down below, I have a lot of attachments for my drill press. And here's my Jet 15-inch joiner. And swinging back around here, this is where I do a lot of my embossments and so forth on my woodworking. I've got a Fordham set up here that I use. And on the table, I've got my high-speed grinder and my Omni wood burning. And my Trent Bosch vise to hold my bowls and so forth. They twist in all different directions when you're working on them. Real handy little tool. It's on a workbench, and I have a couple of vices on each end of it. Coming around, I have a Hawk scroll saw. Do a lot of scroll saw work. I also have a Hegner scroll saw. And then this is a bench that I made. It's kind of a small parts. I have a lot of jewelry type stuff in there that you would use, tweezers and small pliers and so forth in there. And going into my other shop, which is my wood turning shop, I've got a Finn vacuum system here. And got a metal cutting bandsaw, drop cords here, and a bunch of lumber storage. Getting into my sharpening station, now just talking about rebuilding tools. This is an old Craftsman table saw that I've been working on. I've got everything for it except a fence, so I'm still looking for one of those. But like I said, this is where I do my sharpening. I got a little small belt sander here, low-speed grinder with CBN wheels and Wolverine mechanism on it. A lot of attachments and everything in the case below it. And then what I use mostly is my Robert Sorby belt sharpening tool. It, to me, does a little better job. I like it a little better than I do the CBN wheels. And right beside that, I've got my lathe. It's a Nova, I can't think of the name of it, Galaxy. Pretty neat lathe, direct drive, variable speed. It'll go from 100 to 5,000 RPM, which I don't intend on using. I have had it up that way just to see if it would, what it sounded like. And it begins to move across the room at 5,000 RPM. Some of my turning tools. I have sandpapers and a little disc in front. Then over here, I have a wall with more of my tools. Some of the different chucks and so forth that I use. This toolbox here, I have all my turning stuff in it. And down below, I have just, like I said, more of my turning stuff. Swinging around here, this is just a box that I made. Let me swing by it. It has a turntable in it, and this is where I do my spraying and so forth. I have a vacuum, or not a vacuum, but a blower on the back of it that sucks it, and I'll put a hose out the window, and it takes the fumes and everything out of the window when I'm spraying. And coming back around, this is kind of what I call my mechanical stuff. It's got all my sockets, my screwdrivers, and stuff I would work on my motors and stuff like that with. Swinging back around, just more toolboxes here. Got a wash tub for my water. And a couple jigs here I've got. This is one of the jigs I use for doing my segmented. And you can rotate it around and it sets your jigs. And the little vase right beside it is what I use to make it with. To get your segments oriented for your open segmented. Here's a tool they call a stomper. Lloyd, I can't think of his first name. He's come up with this. It's for centering your rings after you make your rings. You actually put your chuck on top of it and push it down. And it's always centered on the chuck, and then it's kind of a centering device there that goes around it. And that's about the shop. So that's it for me.
Oh, very good. Very good. Thank you.
Very nice, sir. All right. We got two more. Steve Coley.
Okay. Hello.
There you go, Steve.
All right. So I'm on the iPad, so I'm going to switch the view here, and we'll start in the first little room. Let's see. Are you seeing anything just yet?
See the floor.
Okay. All right. I can't see what I'm sharing, so you'll have to tell me if it's off. But anyway, this is just a room that you enter when you come in my shop. It's I'm a beekeeper, so this is my honey room. So this is where I do all of my extraction of honey and processing the honey. We've got a little table here. Here's an extractor that I made. It's driven by a ceiling fan motor. So anyway, this is where I do my honey. And so coming into the workshop now. So it's my shop is a 30 by 40 building, and the majority of it is a workshop minus the honey room. So this is my workbench. It's kind of the central area of the shop. And here you can, so I'll just kind of pan around and talk as we go. So I've got like various wall cabinets where I store my stains, wood burning equipment, all of my small parts storage. Got quite a few bins of material. The cabinets house like, drill bits and drilling tools and everything. I've got a Craftsman drill press. This next piece of, I guess, furniture is more like a big cabinet that I use for a tool storage and a tool cabinet. It's where I keep all my hand tools. I don't have quite enough space to keep everything set out and directly accessible. But anyway, it's pretty handy when I need it. So I've got a Laguna 14-inch bandsaw, and this is sort of my miter saw and clamping station. So I got a collection of various bar clamps and screw clamps and that kind of thing. It's got a 12-inch Bosch miter saw, so I I think it's the same one that Bob Shossi has. So I understand his pain when it comes to dust collection, but it's not the greatest dust collection, but it's a great saw for cutting. You can see my dust collection. It goes up through the ceiling and it goes across the shop to the other side for where my dust collector is located. These are all of my hand clamps and router bits, as well as my router table and that kind of thing. So turning around, we'll look at this side. I've got an old Powermatic 12-inch or 6-inch belt disc sander. It's got, I think it's a 12-inch disc. This is probably a vintage 1950s model that I bought, and also was able to refurbish it, took it and cleaned it, took it all apart, put new bearings in it and sanded it, and even bought new pinstriping for it. And it's got a shop vac that's built into it, so whenever you turn it on, it does the vacuuming. So dust collector, stereo system. Over here is my dust collector made out of a trash can. The blower's out behind it, and it sucks it into these bags here into this little bucket. So it's sort of a homemade job. This is my wood, part of my wood storage. I'm got store a lot of small pieces, blanks, and here are various little turning blanks and pieces that I keep. So here's a few Osage orange blanks and various pieces that I've got out, plan to do some work on. My table saw is a Delta unisaw with a unifence on it. Moving across, I've got a Delta 8-inch joiner, 15-inch surface planer, and this is my wood rack that's made that it actually holds quite a lot of wood, and it, you know, without taking up too much floor space. Kind of going around, this is all just wood storage. I've got a metal cutting bandsaw, a little bit of a place to store some metal material. All of my sharpening and grinding equipment is located on a utility, kind of a TV cart that came from a classroom, and it's on wheels, and whenever I want to sharpen or grind something, I just roll it out and roll it around, and I can access whatever I want to, whether I'm sharpening or grinding or wire brushing or something like that. I've got a oscillating spindle sander. It's on a casters. It will roll out. It's made by Inlon, but it's just like the Grizzly machine. It's one I want to repaint, but it's a good tool. I've got an air filtration system that I pull down whenever I'm doing a lot of heavy sanding, and then this is sort of my yard and welding equipment and that kind of thing. So I'll spin around and we'll get to the lathe. I actually have two lathes. I've got a one-way 1640 lathe that I just repainted probably back before this whole COVID thing started. So I didn't use it for a month because I didn't want to get it messed up, but I finally broke it in and started using it now. This little jig here is a Jerry Jones special. It's a wood threading jig that I got the idea from Jerry, and Jerry got me some of the parts and that kind of thing. So this base mounts directly on my lathe, and I can use it to thread pieces with. This little cabinet is for drying bowls in process and that kind of thing. And then got a few more bar clamps on this side. And then this is my second lathe, which is a Nova DVR XP. So, all the different cabinets I've got, various tools and that kind of thing in, but it's a pretty good setup. Got an LED light overhead that lights it up pretty good. And you see Daisy, my dog, she runs around. So good thing is I got a big garage door. So if it gets really you know, if I want to clean it out, I can just raise the door, put on the dust mask, and crank up the leaf blower and blow all the dust out into the woods. So it works out pretty good for me. So I guess that's about it.
Very good. Thank you. Where did Jim go?
You're up.
Nice shop, Steve. Nice shop, Robert.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And, you know, just seen some good shops here. I enjoyed them all.
So Jim, should I show my video? You're muted, Jim. I didn't hear you.
Yep, that would work. You're on.
Okay, let me give that a shot there then. Let's see if I can get that to go. Let me know if it's going.
There it goes.
Okay.
You're off and running.
Are you okay, Jim?
No, we can barely hear it.
I think you need to check that box that's in the share window screen.
Whoa, okay.
There's a couple boxes there. Check both of those.
Yeah. Well, why don't I start again and go? I think I'll just do it by hand here.
Did you check those boxes?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go out this way.
He's going to discover here in a minute that he's not hooked up.
I'm kind of learning. This is not a proven science.
Well, yeah, I think we figured that part out, haven't we? Although they've been remarkably good thus far. I've been scared to death about what's going to happen with these things.
Jim, what happened here?
You're not hooked up to your phone. You're still hooked up to your to your computer. The only thing we see is the back of your chair and your elbow.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get the phone going here.
Well,
Probably
at least
what
you
you
didn't
want.
go to the bathroom.
So do I share this here again?
No, you just get your phone hooked up into the meeting.
So it's hooked up, I think.
Okay. Mute your computer, turn your computer off. And
Okay.
you go just on your phone.
Okay, let's try that.
He'll be back here in a minute, I hope.
Jim, worst case, he could play his video and just narrate it live as he goes through it.
Yep. We
that's an
talked
idea.
about that as well. But if he can get his phone going.
Hey, Jim, while we got a minute, can you mention about the Chapel Hill Zoom demonstrations and how good they've
Yeah.
been?
Yeah, they're doing demonstrations. Frank Penta's doing demonstrations. I've been sending links out to them, and I apologize for getting the links out late to you. What happens is they send me notice of that the demonstration's coming up, and then 30 minutes before the demonstration, they send out the link for how to connect to it. And of course, while they're sending out the link, I'll be doing a glue up or something along those lines, and I don't see it and I don't hear it. And so Jim Terry calls me and says, "You going to send that link out or not?" And so I go running around and get the link sent out, and so they're often late. But the demonstrations are absolutely excellent. I commend them to your attention.
Okay, Jim, I'm here again now.
Okay.
I kept trying to join the wrong meeting. So, anyway, okay, so now, shall I start here?
Yeah, start there. Everybody mute your things and let's.
Okay, so my shop is a detached garage that once was, filled in to be a shop. So over here I have a keyless entry to the door. And then let me go in here quickly. So I have some wood storage over here, just boxes and so forth. And then a table saw, a Craftsman 10-inch table saw on wheels. Alongside here, I have a router table. There's a router under there, and I use the fence on the router table. Of course, I have a shop vac to help clean things up. I don't have a big filtration system like most of you guys do. Over here, I have the drum sander, and then a bandsaw. So it's a Rikon 13 or 14-inch bandsaw. Then I have a workbench here. It's just a general purpose workbench. And then a jigsaw here on a cabinet that has some drawers. And I have a belt sander here, and then just wood stored there. Let me turn around back this way. Oops. And here's my Powermatic lathe and protectors for my feet so that I don't hurt. This is a cabinet that stores tools that I got from Jim Barber. It's a hand-me-down, I think. And then, of course, back to the lathe here. So pretty nice lathe. I like it quite a bit. Have various measuring tools and calipers, a light up here that's adjustable. And then, just most of my tools that I use most all the time, just to my left hand here. Oh, let's show you this as well. There's Jim Duxbury's breathing apparatus. So, and then behind me, I have my original Jet mini lathe, which is here. You can see that. And then more tools and a box full of jam chucks, which I use quite a bit. Sharpening station here. So CBN wheel and a regular stone wheel over here. And then cabinet to store things. Toolbox down here. And then my primary workspace is over here. So just a little space there where I design things and work on things. And then just a pegboard tool rack. Another cabinet over here. And then a drill press. Again, something that I purchased from Jim Barber when he got his new one. So a little air filtration system up in the top part up there. And then as we head back here, there's a cabinet that I've put a Latin saying on. Seize the wood, turn the wood. And then there's just back here a rack full wood that's stored, piled up, and then an air compressor and a heating and air conditioning unit, and a lot of junk. And so that's about it for my shop. You know, I have a iPod over here on the wall. Oops, the iPod is over there, which works with this amplifier unit over here and some speakers so that I'm able to have some music. And then, oh, this is an interesting part as well. I have some antiques up here. These are some oil cans that I inherited from my grandfather. So that's what those are. And then a photo of my dad. And anyway, so that's about it for my shop.
Thank you, Nim. Nice tour.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We have seen a variety of styles of shops, everything from watchmaking or clock making to big, great big lathes and so on. I considered showing mine for the sole purpose of making everybody feel good that their shop is not the messiest, dirtiest shop in the club, because I think mine holds that prize. These guys cleaned up their shops, though, I can tell, and nobody keeps their shop that clean. Anyhow, thank you very much to everybody who was willing to show their shop. This was, I think this was an enjoyable way to spend an evening. Okay. Do we have anything else from anybody for the good of the order?
What's the latest on red?
I do not know. Does anybody know? How's red doing?
Hospital won't let you in.
No, but have we heard anything on his, you know, how he's recovering? Or
I haven't heard anything.
Haven't either.
I tried to email him, but the email bounced back. So whatever email address I had is no longer functional for him.
Right.
I have a question for George Suderman.
I emailed Julian asking if Red could take text messages or something on his phone, but he hasn't gotten back to me on it.
Okay, we had a question for George Suderman. George, are you still with us?
No. Okay.
George, wake up.
I don't see.
I think the gentleman moved out of the area that before I saw them do the demo on the American Indian style flute. Does anybody remember? George said he had made some. Yeah. I think the gentleman moved to Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, that gentleman passed away.
Oh, that's horrible. Do you
he
remember?
He moved up to Virginia and then he passed away.
Hmm.
Back last year I was making a few flutes and kind of got off on another subject. I need to go back and do some more. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't made any yet, and I'd like to try it. And I was wondering if the style was 2 pieces.
There's many styles. I can email you some information on a book that I got really good. A gentleman that makes hundreds of flutes.
How can I get
Yeah,
that?
I believe the guy that made those did make them in 2 pieces.
Okay, so they were routed for the center and then glued together. Okay.
Correct.
There's a number of videos on YouTube about it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not as rich as you would think.
easy kind is a PVC flute. But I've done a wooden raised sound mouthpiece.
What's the divider below the mouth, below the bear? How are you blocking the airflow from?
It's a pass through just like it is in a regular flute.
Hold it a little higher, Jerry. There you go.
It's three pieces. The bear is your frog, and the air comes in, it's got a block in here, comes up into this maple block. That's where your airflow passage is, and your filter makes the sound. And of course, then your note, your note hole down the flute. This is the best sounding flute I got, and I've got a lot of different flutes that I've turned on the lathe. A lot of them I built out of cedar does really good. And anyway, make them, turn them on, do them on a router table and put them together, or you do a lot of wood along with a PVC. But this stays in tune versus the wood ones.
Jerry, have you thought about putting a wood veneer over top of a PVC
I
flute?
have thought about, hey, I'm an old paint guy.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know. I know how to do it, but I just can't bring myself to sitting down and doing wood grain on top of it. It won't change the sound of it a bit.
Right.
There's a guy in Asheville was making them, and he uses a gun drill. He also makes a double one with two holes that you must have to really blow.
Yeah, I looked at those gun drill bits. Those are kind of expensive to do a little hobby like that, though.
So, sounds to me like we've reached an end.
I know this is a little early, but do you think we will have a Christmas party this year?
Let's try to.
Okay.
Let's go forward with, with the best of intentions. I think it's far easier and more efficient to say, well, we're not going to have a Christmas party long about the 1st of December than it is to say, oh, by the way, let's see if we can pull one together in the next 3 weeks.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get her name on the list at Bon Bon's. I think we decided we'd go back there.
Yep.
Okay.
What's everybody think? Does everybody think that's a good idea to give it a try?
It was excellent there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody?
Well, unless we see your shop.
I'm sorry, whoever it was that was speaking, we heard the dog and didn't hear you.
That was me. I said, unless we can't see your shop.
No, we're not going to see my shop. Maybe another time. Okay. I think we've reached an end.
Do you have any idea what we'll do for next month's demo?
I have no idea. If you have an idea, send it to me and I'll send it to whoever it is that steps up to actually run the meeting.
Okay.
All right?
I think it'd be a good tour of your shop.
Well, given that I'm likely to not be here, that's going to be, I mean, I'm perfectly.
Well, then we can take whatever we want.
I'm perfectly willing to do a tour of my shop, but
I can make my way out there, Jim.
If you're not here, we can pick up whatever we want.
Sure, come on. All right. Anyhow, folks, we'll see you in a month. All right?
Okay.
Take care. Everybody be safe.
All right, bye.
Everybody stay safe.
You also have a safe trip.